Hello, everybody. It is Dee and Renee, and we're back.
Take two.
That's right. That's right. No big deal, Dee. It happens. So, today our show is all about rhubarb. And for those of you that were on earlier, get back here and we'll start all over again. So I'm going to pop this up here, Dee, and you were just going into the fruit leather
Yeah.
when we kind of signed off earlier. So go ahead.
So it's ridiculously easy to make. It is just bursting with flavor. It is such a low sugar version, and so easy to make. And where the idea came from actually was clients bringing their kids into their check-ins, and their kids are sitting on the floor and they're eating,
Fruit roll-ups.
yeah, fruit roll-ups and those little fruit candies disguised as, fruit gummies in the little packages, and the fruit to go, which is essentially just sticks of sugar. And
So
so,
true.
yeah. And so I thought, why not? All you need is a little bit of sweetener if you want, and some lemon juice, and your pureed rhubarb, and you're good to go.
Keep going. So you're talking about, so tell us, how exactly, because when I look at this, I go like, that looks like a recipe that would take me forever to figure out how to do. So tell us exactly what the process is.
Sure, this is exactly what you see. 2 cups of rhubarb into a saucepan, 2 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of your favorite sweetener, so either Walden Farms jam or the maple syrup, and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. You cook it down for about 10 minutes, let it cool, puree, spread thin on a silicone mat, and dehydrate in your oven at 170 degrees. Mine took about 6 hours. It comes out as a sheet of dried rhubarb, and then you can cut it and shape it and manipulate it. You can roll it in parchment paper like real fruit roll up. And the beautiful thing about fruit leather, if you get it a little too dry, you can simply mist that with water and it becomes soft and pliable and chewy again. So
So
super.
so 6 hours. Wow. What
Because you're
if you actually use like a dehydrator, does it make any difference in the time frame, or
you're
is it about the same?
it's about the same, because you're dehydrating on a really, really low heat. So we're not looking to cook it. We're just looking to dry it out. The beautiful thing is I popped that in the oven before I went to bed and got up in the morning and pulled it out of the oven and it was done.
Wait, you only sleep 6 hours?
Usually.
Okay, well, we need to talk about that for
I know.
sure. Okay, well, if you are on this broadcast and you would like these recipes, remember they come out every Monday in our newsletter. All you have to do is type in the word newsletter. If you are already subscribed, don't worry about it. It's coming to you. But if you don't get the recipes on a regular basis, just remember every Monday is the day that we put out the recipes. Okay, Dee, so let's take a look at this. This looks so interesting. A relish.
Yes, rhubarb relish. And if you are from Eastern Canada, so I suppose I'm not going to probably get the states right that are right beside Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. And what is right?
New York,
Probably,
Rhode
well,
Island,
that's Toronto's close to New York, but anywho, so
Maryland,
I gotta
Michigan.
look at I gotta look at a map. Um, So the really cool thing about this is rhubarb relish is like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old, and it's really simple because you're cooking down. So traditionally you would use onion, so I replaced it with green onion, and you're using herbs or not herbs. Um, oh my gosh, nutmeg, cloves,
Spices.
spices. Oh my gosh, and my brain just tapped out. And some apple cider vinegar, and you cook it down into a relish, and it is delicious. And so traditional recipes, you see it being served over white fish, like any type of white fish. But in North America, it is generally served with things like roast beef, and it was the bomb over those ground beef burgers that you see there. Really, really
Oh,
delicious.
okay. So that's it's like basically a hamburger that you put the relish on top of.
You bet. Yeah.
So
You,
what are the ingredients in the, is it like a pickle relish, those similar kind of ingredients?
so it's literally just rhubarb, onion, apple cider vinegar, and spices. That is it. You
Oh,
cook you cook her down, and it makes this wonderful bubbly. Um, it cooks down into a little bit of a thin relish, and
okay.
it is bursting with flavor. And you only need a little bit of spice to bring out the flavor in your onions and in your rhubarb. It is amazing. So the tartness of the rhubarb, with the flavor of the onion, and then the spices. It's honestly, it is so easy, it is so quick, and then it's so easy to track how much you're using as well. So it's a 2 cup veggie recipe, and so then you can quarter it or eighth it or
Mm,
whatever you like. And so for people that really miss their sauces and their dips, because there is that crowd out there, they don't like dry meat, they don't like eating things plain. This is a perfect one for you, because literally you could bathe any type of meat in this and it is delish, and there's nothing in it that you can't have. There's no sweeteners in here. Like, that is the beautiful thing. It's just spices and veggies. And so it is a great way. And again, like, so for those protocol users that have a tough time hitting those veggie goals, really easy way to get veggies in. You don't even know
yeah.
you're eating them, because it's just a
Wow.
really delicious, savory tart sauce. It's really good.
I,
Yeah.
I do love relishes on a piece of white fish. It's
Yeah.
always delicious. So yeah, that looks yummy. All right. So if you're on here live, give us a hashtag live. And if you were on the first show, give us a thumbs up to say you're back. We're back. Okay, this looked absolutely delicious, and this is ginger chicken.
Yeah. Rhubarb ginger chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a rhubarb ginger chicken bake. And once again, so ridiculously easy. The ingredients make their own sauce in a 1 dish pan. So you have your sliced rhubarb and fresh ginger. I did use a little bit of the sugar free maple syrup in there, and use a little bit of spices again. And it is just so simple. You assemble, you toss. I recommend, I used 2 4-ounce pieces of chicken breast, side by side, toss them in the bowl with all my ingredients, put them in a pan, drizzled a little bit of maple syrup over that, baked, and then when I plated it, some fresh cilantro on top. And what you see pictured is 8 ounces of protein and 2 full cups of vegetables. So between your rhubarb and your onion and your cilantro, you're getting 2 full cups of vegetables. So right there, your dinner plate contains everything that you need. And the rhubarb just lends amazing, amazing flavor. It is really an underutilized select vegetable.
Well,
So
I think most people don't know what to do with it. I mean, my grandma made pie with it. I think she pickled it, but that got lost in that generation. Unless, of course, you live in rural America. Us city kids. My grandma had a big garden in the city, so they had a fairly a lot of land. So she was, I think she was originally from Indiana, and so she, grew her big garden every year. I would go out and help her, but that got lost in that generation for sure. I love that your mom did this and she taught you this, and you're carrying it on. Does Andy help you in the kitchen?
A little bit. So a very true story that I'm really honest with everybody about is my daughter Andy is the pickiest eater alive. And the really interesting thing about that is she's also a picky junk food eater. So it's not that she passes over healthy food for garbage. She just has a very, she's so sensitive to texture. So she loves pickles and raw cucumbers. She eats raw plain spinach. She adores it. She loves all types of raw nuts. But her protein has to have no sauces, no spices, plain steak, plain chicken
That's
breast.
a that's a kid thing. That you grow
Well,
out of.
she's 14.
I know, but my kids, my older boy was like that for a long
Yeah.
time, and now he works in a gourmet restaurant and eats gourmet food and eats
Oh,
all kinds of stuff. So
but Andy makes
that does change over
that's it.
time.
Andy makes the best scrambled eggs though that you have ever had because she puts so much vigor into her beating of the egg. She gets so much air in there that you would swear that she has made those eggs with whipping cream and they're just eggs. So everybody compliments her on her extreme egg whipping skills. So there you
Oh
go.
wow! All right, all right.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got two different kinds of things here. You had more like the relish, which has some spices in it, so that would mean it's got a little sweeter flavor, right? But
Nope.
this is salsa here.
This
So
is
is this
this is
warmer?
this is salsa, and this I chose to use some heat and some sweet in this salsa. So it has fresh jalapeno pepper in here, but I used a little bit of lime juice and just a touch of maple syrup in there as well, just to give it a little bit of balance. The rhubarb is so tart, but again, for rhubarb and onions marry so beautifully. The flavors just work together. And so really it's like taking traditional salsa ingredients, throwing your rhubarb in there, and then you can decide how you want to dress it. And so with just the lime and the salt and pepper, it was okay, but putting just a tiny hint of sweetness in there just really kicked it up a notch. It's really gave it really good flavor. And so I was reading some comments online about, oh my gosh, I have rhubarb coming out of my ears, I don't know what to do with it. So here's another really great easy recipe that is super delicious. And again, you could serve this over any type of white fish, chicken, beef, pork, lamb. It could go over top of just plain salad for an instant salad done, complete, with a whole variety of vegetables in there. So, and remember when you're doing something like salad, plain romaine lettuce, that's really, you can count that as an extra and then put your 2 cups of your chopped veggies like this over top and enjoy that guilt free as well. You're just getting fiber and water out of that romaine or as something, a water-based lettuce such as that. So really easy. You can make big batches. So it is a great fresh alternative to any canned salsa. So that is something that we come across a lot of times. People are really looking for fast and easy, but unfortunately with that comes a lot of non-allowable ingredients, preservatives, and unnecessary sugars packed into those ready to serve jars. So this is a really easy, simple version, and you can adjust it. You could cut the recipe in half, you could double it, you could triple it, depending on who you're feeding. So simple and just bursting full of flavor. So yeah.
Yummy, yummy.
Yeah.
That sounds great. If you are live, give us a hashtag live. And if you're watching it in the replay, give us a hashtag replay. Remember, all you have to do is type the word newsletter. If you're not already receiving our newsletter, you can get these recipes and they will come on Monday in our weekly newsletter. You can also go over to Dee's recipes, and Dee has her ebook over there that you can download with 50 of her favorite baking recipes. And so when it comes to baking, we have this beautiful rhubarb tart coming up next. So tell us about this, Dee.
This is amazing. And you know what makes it amazing? Slicing the rhubarb in a different way. Who knew? So instead of just chopping it into your chunks to throw into your Instapot or make your compote, you're going to slice it the lengthwise, and you're going to actually, this is so simple but so tasty. You end up taking a little bit of jam and maple syrup, and you let that rhubarb marinate in liquid for a few hours, and then with a little bit of orange rind for the citrus, or orange zest, sorry. And you then pour off the liquid before you bake. And then while you're baking your tart, or whatever you want to call it, you heat up that leftover liquid to make like a rhubarb reduction. And then when that tart came out of the oven, then you put the reduction back over top, and it is just like a beautiful thick gooey glaze. It is so tasty, and once again, so simple to do. Oh, sorry, there's a little bit of lemon juice. You can use lemon or lime juice to bring out the liquid of the rhubarb while it's sitting, and then that makes a beautiful glaze. And so I did put it, so I did it in a couple versions. I did it on my vanilla dough base. I also did it on an oatmeal base, but then I just baked it by itself, just like you would in a little ramekin, and it was beautiful all on its own. It doesn't need a base per se, and so I'm gonna give you all of those versions, so you can decide for yourself. But just another way to enjoy a simple rhubarb, and it really, this one tastes really quite decadent. You think there's a lot more in there than there really is. Mm-hmm.
So how many cups of veggies is this, or how do you determine that?
That's one.
Okay, so this is just one cup. I mean, like, how big is this thing?
That is like 6 by 3 inches.
Oh, okay. It looks huge. It looks like a whole
well,
pan.
it is like,
wow.
I don't know.
Okay, 6 by 3. All right. Well, that's a nice size. That's a nice size tart. Do you like this with your coffee in the morning? Do you have this as a dessert? What do you prefer it as?
Honestly, I ate all versions of it in the evening.
And what's your favorite like crust?
The oatmeal.
The oatmeal.
Yeah, the oatmeal.
Okay, so you use the maple oatmeal or the apple oatmeal?
Either would work, but I prefer the apple.
Okay.
I'm not looking for any extra sweetness. I find the maple oatmeal quite sweet, actually.
It is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I do prefer the apple, the, like, apple rhubarb, apple strawberry, those types of things. So I do like the, and you can make a base like a cookie bar, or you can actually just use some ingredients to moisten enough to press into a pan, and then it just bakes up a little bit into a cookie bar once you pop it in the oven with the rhubarb on top. So really, really easy. And of course, we talk all the time about rhubarb and oatmeal. So rhubarb crisps and crumbles and those types of things. So they just go well together. And of course, if you've watched us before, we talk a lot about stewed rhubarb. Renee has showed all you guys how to do rhubarb in your Instapot for beautiful batches, to eat in your oatmeals, and to eat in your pudding, and to do in your vanilla or chocolate shakes in the morning. And today I had a client tell me, so she needs to save a pack for after supper. She needs to do that. So she needed to come up with a way to stretch her food throughout the day. So every day this week, she had her branched chain amino acids blended with rhubarb. And she said it is amazing. Amazing.
So now, did she just puree the rhubarb, and then so she didn't add any sweeteners, and she just put the branched chains in there with that?
Yep. And said it's so delicious and so filling. So the fruity flavor from the branched chain amino acid lends enough flavor to the rhubarb, and she blends it into a smoothie, and it fills her tummy right up. And then so she pushes back that morning pack. And she said it's just was a super easy way for her to come up with a way to meet her goals that worked better for her. She just, some people don't need that evening snack. She said, I just really depend on that. And so until she gets past that, this is and I loved this idea so much. So you wouldn't have to do it as a breakfast, say mid-morning, that's your crash time, or mid-afternoon,
Right.
or maybe in the evening, you're going to save a half a cup or a cup of your select veggie and blend it with those branch chains, because there's never a bad time to have those branch chains. And so I
Yeah.
just thought that was a wicked idea. I just thought it was great. So there is another, that was a client doing their own problem solving, taking a look at what their something that they enjoyed, and it was the same thing. She had an abundance of rhubarb ready to in her garden. What can I do with this? And she loves it. And so I said to her, can I tell everybody about this today? She said, please do. So
Oh, that's awesome.
fantastic idea from my client B. So awesome. It was just, I just thought it was a brilliant use of her select veggie.
Yeah, and speaking of those kinds of things, we all have, I think, maybe habits, and we correlate certain points in the day with maybe times that we have snacked in the past, and things to work on. But if you do have that thing, instead of feeling deprived or setting yourself up to fail, doing something like this where you're using some of your veggies for the day. The reason that we have those select veggies is because they metabolize slowly and they keep us satiated, they keep us hydrated from the inside out, they give us fiber. There's so many different reasons, and as you learn more and more about how your body processes, you're going to be so excited to have your veggies every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is a learning curve as to how we start listening to our body, because a lot of times, I can remember when I gained 65 pounds over like a 3-year period of time. I thought I was hungry, but honestly, until I started losing weight and I actually got hunger pangs, I realized I've never been hungry in my life. So, some of it is there's a variety of reasons that we can feel like we're hungry. Can be related to, adrenal system
Yeah.
being fatigued. It can be related to a variety of things, and those are things you can work with a naturopathic doctor on. So if you're constantly feeling like you're hungry, there's a problem there. And it can be related to sleep, to cortisol, to your autoimmune stuff. So there's a lot of reasons, and I think that what happens with clients that feel that way, they're already in a place of, I can't lose weight, I'm feeling shameful, guilty. Everybody thinks I'm overeating and I'm not, and then to tell people I'm hungry all the time is like adding insult to injury, and so we get frustrated, and then we give up. And don't give up. Find yourself an integrative or functional medicine doctor. They treat your whole body. Maybe there's some kind of a vitamin or a deficiency of magnesium, or it can be just as simple as we've gotten our digestive system in a bad place. We have bad gut health. We're not absorbing our vitamins, and we can be supplemented in a different way. So don't give up hope when these things come up for you and you feel like you're the only person that has this issue. And I know.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
all about it. Yeah.
for
So,
sure.
all right, Dee, give us your last minute tips for this week on how to stay in the game.
Okay, I have a few for you. So first of
Okay.
all, this is now available to
Oh yeah,
everybody,
that's the lemon. We get
and
that. I think we get that on Thursday or
and
tomorrow.
it is the bomb, like the bomb times 10. I can't even tell you how much I like this.
Oh,
Now
good.
I'm a lemon, like I love real lemonade, of course, not the fake stuff. But this is fantastico. So watch for your clinic or your coaches, or get texting your coach right now and say, you better have this on order. It is fantastic. So as we're heading into the hot weather, we talk a lot about hydration and heat and electrolytes. And so if you're feeling weak and nauseous and you have leg pains, or you think you're hungry, you need fluid and electrolytes. And so get these. I don't often get super excited about these kind of things, but I'm really excited about this. I've drank 3. I'm on my 3rd one today, just because it is so tasty. And then
Good.
back to our rhubarb. So if you haven't used rhubarb, tried rhubarb, all across North America right now, it's a really hardy, like a zone 4, 3-4 plant. So it grows literally, it survives almost anywhere. So if you don't grow it yourself, get on the land of Facebook, social media, Instagram, put out there, hey, who's got some rhubarb ready that I can come pick, or that you'd like to give to me. It's quite expensive to buy it in the grocery store, and it is always best fresh picked. If you're going to go pick somebody's plant, you get nice and low to the base of the stalk, and you simply pull that stalk up. Don't cut it. You need to pull it, and then that keeps the plant reproducing and growing. And so that's a little harvesting tip for you, so that you don't, you're going to cut off those green leaves. A lot of the times we talk about edible leaves on plants. These ones are not. You are only going to eat the stalk. And if you come across different varieties, some are ruby red, and some are variegated, and some are actually green. And that is just the different varieties. So I will try to post a few varieties and a few pictures, just so that if you see green rhubarb and go, it's not ready, there are some varieties that are pure green as well. So
that's a question I have, Dee, then. How do you know if your rhubarb is, like, when you go, just say you go to the grocery store, because I don't have rhubarb growing around here in the Bay Area. If I go to Lenardi's, where you've been, how do I select that?
So the problem with rhubarb, and I'm just going to be really honest, once it's harvested, it wilts really fast. It's tough to keep fresh. And so for it to be fresh, it's not going to be wrinkly or rubbery. So when it's rubbery, like when you can wiggle it, kind of gets yucky. I mean, you can still cook it down into compote, but for slicing for fresh recipes, it's not as great. You are usually in a grocery store going to see that ruby red color. Yes, Renee. Yeah. The more red, usually the more sweeter. You are correct. The ruby red varieties, of course, they're really appealing because they cook. They're such a nice bright color. They're also more juicier as well than the green varieties, and so
Cool.
nice, firm, clean stalks, and not too overgrown. So if they're great big monster stalks, the chances are it's a late harvest and the plant might have already been to seed, and then they can taste woody. So if they're over an inch in thickness, diameter, I would stay away. A little bit bigger than that, but if it's bigger than that, that's really pushing the limit. And you want to pick it before your plant goes to seed, or get the seeds off, so that your plant keeps reproducing. Because that's something I see in our neighborhood a lot. People just let the plant go to seed, and then it's done producing for the year. So you just nip that and keep that plant going. And they're really hardy. So if you have any friends in the Bay Area there, Renee, that want to plunk one in their flower bed or in their garden, get them going, because they're actually hard to kill once they're
Okay, yeah,
established.
I heard they're like a weed. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but
All right, cool.
they grow huge like a rhododendron. Like they're just
Oh,
like, yeah, they can grow massive. I should have taken a picture of the neighbor ones before I started plucking off of it, because hers are amazing. And then I pay her in muffins. That's what
there you
that's what
go.
yeah,
That's
that's what I do.
awesome.
So yeah.
All right. Well, Dee, it's been a pleasure. And, thanks everybody for hanging in there with us. And again, if you want the recipes and you're not already getting our newsletter, and if it's a 2-step subscription. So make sure that you say yes, and then you click the newsletter subscription and go through adding your information to that. So Dee, it's been a pleasure. And okay,
Dee's
wait,
gonna get
hold on.
a new router, everybody.
Yeah, you need one. I've tried, Renee says she's tried 3 times and not successful. I'm not sure what that means. You mean
What have you tried, Renee?
on the compote? Is that what you're talking about? I'm not sure what she means about that. But we can also answer that in the comments section. So all right, Misty.
Okay.
See you next week.
Bye, everybody.